I call the Township of Aleppo Commissioners meeting of October 17th, 2022 to order at 7 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
President Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Guerra.
Present.
Commissioner Haluka.
Present.
Solicitor Stone.
Present.
Manager Patterson. Here.
This meeting, as all others, will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube. Do I hear a motion to approve the October 10th workshop meeting minutes?
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Any further discussion?
There'll probably be a discussion when we get to an agenda item, the potential modification to one of the items in the minutes.
Thank you. All in favor
Aye.
with that condition? Opposed? Motion passes with the condition. Adam?
Good evening. This is for the month of September, a total of 51 calls. 32 were either medical emergencies or medical assists. 9 more alarms. We had 4 animal complaints, a couple trees down, some wires down as well. Assisted a couple other departments on a couple calls. Other than that, pretty quiet month.
So I almost called the non-emergency number. There's a Publishers Clearinghouse scam going around. They give you $700,000 in cash. You pay the taxes and fees up front. The check that they give you, pretending it to be cash, bounces. Then you get a $3 million check that bounces. But at any rate, I know numerous people have received the call. So if anybody receives a call, it's a scam.
Yeah, they're doing the stuff. I just twice today. My Amazon account's been hacked according to them, and I'm supposed to go some number. So, it's getting.
Verizon's doing the same thing.
We're getting into the holiday season, so they got to start. They get Christmas presents to buy for their families. So I guess we really start scamming us around this time of the year. So, but other than that, always be diligent. If you're confused about it, don't assume that that's what's going on. Give us a holler, and we can look into it for you.
Okay, and the standard question, is there anything we can do for you?
Not right now. I think we're pretty decent. Got through all the road closures and everything like that over the last few
Nice
months.
job, by the way.
Directing traffic as much as humanly possible. So, other than that, thank you. Other than that,
Any more questions?
Potential spam, there you go.
Any more questions?
No.
nope.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
no
Thank
problem.
you.
Take care.
Emergency
Adam, stay safe.
management.
I've started doing the hazard mitigation. The whole EOP needs to be written in 2023. So the first step of that is hazard identification, and I've started doing that. And it's an ongoing process.
Thank you. Public Works.
Yes, you have the report in your packet. We're working on our speed monitoring sign. We need a little bit of IT assistance with that, so we're gonna get that freshened up so we can get the correct data coming out of it. We did put up a no truck sign on Redgate, and then there've been a lot of end of season grass maintenance that they're trying to get accomplished, the weed whacking and things for, hopefully one final time before it turns to leaf season. And they had to replace the steering stabilizer on one of the dump trucks.
Thank you. Any other comments in regard to Public Works? Communications.
We received 2 emails this week. The first one was from a resident that said that the deer are out of control. He can't work anywhere on his property without deer crap, plus all the damage to shrubs, and need a hunt out of control. So that was the first email I got, and Patty very helpfully pulled minutes from past meetings where we discussed this and talked about it, and talked about that in the past, in 2020, it was decided that there was not going to be any kind of formal activity taken. We had conversations about how deer don't respect municipal boundaries, and so you can have a hunt in one town and it's not going to stop the deer from another municipality. So In the past, we have had some information about the Pennsylvania Game Commission that about certain management of deer population, meaning don't feed them and things like that. So I can respond by just giving this resident some of that information, but if you
Did
would like to
Strictly Heights-
pursue it
Strictly Heights
further,
is gonna have a culling. They're gonna do a bow hunt.
okay.
I don't think that's
Sure.
gonna
That's
come
Did
out.
Swickley Heights or Fern Hollow have the archer in the woods again?
At Swickley Heights, yeah.
Do you know if they did it this year?
They're doing it this year because they're contacting residents asking for permission to hunt on their property. I just had the discussion last week.
Swickley Heights Borough,
Yes,
Okay.
I believe so.
okay. They've done it have they done it in the past?
Yes.
Okay. That's good information. I
That's,
will
yeah,
ask them
that's
about it,
from
and
someone
then
that
maybe
lives
that
in
could help.
Swickley Heights, so I didn't hear that directly, so,
Okay,
yeah, I would validate that.
I will check on that information before I
Yes,
confirm that with the resident who had the question.
but I would confirm that information before you do.
Okay, one second. Okay, so I will respond to that resident with that.
Good.
The second email that we got from a resident, they are here, received an email from Barb Black. Would you like me to read it, or would you like to read it?
I'll be glad to talk about it if you like.
Okay,
That's why I'm here.
okay.
Okay.
It says,
Do you want me to talk about it?
sure,
All right, you want me to get up and do my thing?
yes, please.
Okay. Barb Black, 362 Weber. When we were watching last week's meeting, Solicitor Stone was discussing the Pennsylvania Act 57. And during that discussion, about 16 minutes into the video, Commissioner Dara asked the question, is this for the benefit of the Lieutenant Governor?
No,
And-
I asked the question, would the Lieutenant Governor benefit from this?
Okay, I said it differently, but I believe mine is a direct quote from the YouTube, but I may be incorrect. It doesn't matter.
Okay,
And the reason I'm here is I didn't understand your question. I didn't understand the relevance between the Lieutenant Governor and our tiny little township of Aleppo. And I thought maybe he moved here, I wasn't sure. And
no,
I was wondering what you meant by that comment.
the whole thing started with Act 57.
Right.
We were talking about non-payment of real property taxes. And under what circumstances would the non-payment of taxes be, or at least the penalties and interest that would go with the non-payment of taxes? One, would they be waivable
Right.
under the amendment to the statute? The Lieutenant Governor has said he didn't pay his property taxes 47 times or something like that because it fell through the cracks. My question was simply whether falling through the cracks entitles you to the benefit of the waiver.
So anyone else who didn't pay their taxes or may have fallen in that same
Well,
category
that was
wasn't
that's the,
called out,
we
but
didn't
the
have,
Lieutenant Governor was, and that's what had me scratching my noodle. And I was wondering if that was an appropriate question in this forum. That's my real question. Like if all the citizens came up and asked a question like that.
that's a legitimate question.
I see. I see. Okay.
But, I mean, going back to where we were talking about Act 57, we didn't have it in front of us. The solicitor was giving us some general information about how it might work, but it was, to me anyway,
I see.
a bit confusing as to what would get you, what did you have to do to qualify for a waiver under what circumstances?
Can you
After-
elaborate on what the Lieutenant Governor did do?
Well, it's been on TV repeatedly.
It was an advertisement, I mean, that's,
No, I mean,
and I want everybody to understand, I'm not up here for a political purpose, because you don't know who I'm gonna vote for, and that has nothing to do with this. The reason I'm here is I didn't know we were to speak, or had the latitude to speak of people that are perhaps running for a position, and we say what we believe in this forum. I didn't know that was an appropriate form, and now that I do, that really has me scratching my noodle even more. I'm
Now
just
that you do
confused.
what? I misunderstood.
I mean,
this.
can all of the citizens come up and ask questions about people that are running for a position whom we may have seen an advertisement on TV or gotten one of those glossies in the mail, and if we believe that a certain person has taken advantage of a tax situation, should I do all my research and get up here and say, may I say that Susie and Billy and Bobby and blah, 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 they're all running, and they all did the same thing that our lieutenant governor did.
I think what I'm hearing
Yes,
from you, and I don't think it even has to be lengthened, I think what I'm hearing from you is a legitimate reminder that we are apolitical.
that's.
I wasn't at that meeting,
That-
so
no, you
I
weren't,
was,
and
I'm
you know
looking
what?
at you kind of funny.
That's exactly
Um,
what,
I think
I'm
what I'm
asking.
hearing is a
That's what
reminder
I'm
that we are
asking.
an apolitical body and should
Correct.
remain so.
correct. And I'm just
That's what I'm
asking
hearing.
if we could please, if that is the case, because Dawn and I went through many rules and regulations, and by the way, I did a lot of research on Act 57, so thank you very much, because as a result of what you did, I learned a lot and you taught me a lot. But you're quite right.
Good,
and
maybe you can explain it to me. Because I'm still wondering if it's a state law that requires the tax collector to do this,
It appeared to be, but
Why-
it wasn't
why-
specific.
why are the commissioners required to pass
Mm-hmm.
an ordinance? I mean, the state law is directed at the tax
And the law
collector.
And it makes
supersedes
it
our
very
ordinance, so, yeah.
specific, that
So,
it's the tax collector.
As I said
That's right.
earlier, I think the only explanation that I can think of for why we need to pass an ordinance is to make the public, to make it transparent, so that the public knows that they have this right, because otherwise, they may not know.
They won't, probably won't know.
So it's probably a transparency.
Sure, and you were quite right, Commissioner Black, it was really just a reminder, are we apolitical? Because we're always above board, or we try to be, and there, we all mess up every now and again, I mean, we all do. But I just wanted to make sure that I understood the rules of this forum.
I believe you
Okay.
do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I follow up on that?
Sure.
Thank you. Don Black, same place, 362 Weber. I'm a registered independent. I just want to state for the record, I think that was a political joke. You can just explain it away. I
It was a
think it
joke,
was a
it was
political joke.
off the cuff remark.
Off the cuff remark. Is that different than I just want to say that I believe our former president, who I think has represented some people here, had some tax issues too, but I don't hear any jokes about him. And like she said, if it's an open forum, I got a lot of opinions I'd love to stand here and preach on if it's an open political forum. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion, any further communications?
No further communications.
Planning and zoning.
On the agenda, you have a motion to approve the James Trap subdivision plan. We talked about it last week. It's the Trap Farm over here. They're subdividing one parcel out for one single-family home. And it's been recommended for approval by the planning commission and the engineers.
Do I hear a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Any further discussion?
I just have a geographically challenged, where is this?
Right at the corner of Redgate and Merriman here, if you
I
go
got it.
right
On
here,
the right,
corner-
is
on the
it?
right, the large parcel with a barn down in
Gotcha.
the valley.
Okay.
How many total acres are there?
I don't have it in front of me, but
That's pretty big.
a chunk.
Okay.
I don't know exactly.
Was there a second?
Yes, there was.
That mine
Art
is-
seconded.
Second.
Art second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Tax collector treasurer.
Clayton is not able to be here tonight, so you have his reports in your packet. If you'd like me to read balances or anything, or would you like me to?
I don't think so, because we all review it after the meeting.
Okay, yeah, nothing jumping out at either of us as a problem or being extremely short on collections of any kind. And I can just also say as part of this is that I am working on a draft of the budget now. George and I will be meeting at the end of the month for the first version, which still has holes in it, that as I am waiting for information to come in. But then in early November, Clay, George and I will also sit down and go over the budget, and Clay will bring his information. So that's underway, and you'll get a draft of the budget in November.
And I think as we discussed at a previous meeting, There are certain impacts on the expense side of the township's budget that have changed. Asphalt, as an example, is twice as expensive as it was 5 years ago. The state and the feds are putting more responsibility for stormwater on us. We have a situation there. So Clay, Gwen, and I are going to sit down and do just kind of a general overview on the status of revenue projections and the status of expense projections.
Gwen, I don't know if you're taking this into account, but there's a recent case in Allegheny County involving tax assessment appeals that says that the county was using essentially the wrong formula and underestimating what they call the common level ratio, which could result in refunds and could result in a reduction in anticipated revenues from the real estate tax.
How far along is that case?
It's moving. We are monitoring it at my firm. We have 3 solicitors, one of whom is actually involved in the litigation. And I asked him last week if he had any update or he could give us any idea where it was headed, and he said, not at this point. But I think it's possible that you won't, even if there's not a refund involved for past years, it may be that you're not going to be able to collect as much.
Significant or?
Yeah,
Could be.
this is the 8563.
Yes.
Currently, it's 85% of the assessed value.
Right.
There's a lawsuit that says 63 is more appropriate. I believe it's under appeal.
It is.
But I think all of the taxing agencies are monitoring it pretty closely. It could be significant.
That is significant. The difference between 85 and 63.
It's not as significant in Aleppo Township because most of our real estate is older. It's really impacting, and the suit was caused by newer development, who said, wait a minute, the house next to me is taxed at 1, I'm being taxed at 3. So it wouldn't affect us as much, but it's still something we need to monitor.
So it's about appeals, real estate appeals, not necessarily like the base value of our homes.
Well, both,
Both.
because it's challenging the county's assessment.
Okay.
So it could affect the initial assessment as well as any appeals.
It's challenging the formula against the real estate.
Challenging the formula.
Would that include all of the properties that have been reassessed by the Quaker Valley School District challenges?
That's what I'm not, it's not clear whether they can go back into prior years or whether they can only make an adjustment going forward. But that's
But it would
one of-
change revenue going forward, am I correct?
Well, right, it will change what you're going forward. I doubt that they're gonna be able to go back to prior years and start appealing, appeals that are finalized.
So it should be a fairly short statute of limitations of that sort of thing, isn't there?
Well, I think it depends on what the argument is. If the argument is that it was only discovered recently, you've got, and I think it was. I think there was a lawyer representing this group who drilled down on these calculations, on the formula that the county was using, and I think there is some validity to what he's saying. It's good if you're a homeowner. It's not so great if you're a municipality.
Any further discussion? So Gwen, the budget, you're planning to have it completed for vote by,
For the vote in December, but the draft will be to the commissioners in November.
thank you. Finance, do I hear a motion as written?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Aleppo Township Authority,
No report.
Quaker Valley Ambulance Authority.
Just want to mention to everyone in Aleppo, we had our final meeting for the Valley 50th reunion this morning. Saturday, we're having an open house. We have fire participation from most of the Quaker Valley side. There's some fire departments that don't have staffing to be able to do that. We have participation from Moon, Corey, that side. They're gonna do Touch the Truck, they're doing free CPR education, they're doing free Stop the Bleed. I'm gonna be grilling hot dogs all day. So if you're out there and have any interest at all, stop by. We're gonna be there from 11 to 2. Just having fun. We have a bunch of stuff for the kids, so bring the kids, the grandkids, whoever. It should be a lot of fun.
And what's
Thank
the
you.
address?
3550 University Boulevard. If you cross the Swickley Bridge, you make a left. It's the only building there. It's the first building on the left. It's a huge white building with 10 garage doors, and there'll be a bunch of fire trucks and some very tall ladders up, so it'll be pretty hard to miss.
Will that be posted on our webpage?
I can put it
Yeah.
up under latest news.
Good.
Yep.
Anything further? Anything further?
No.
Quaker Valley Cog?
No report.
Mr. Solicitor?
No report.
Unfinished business? Any new business? Commissioner Haluka, would you like to discuss the Halloween party?
Oh, sure. I offered to put together a little Halloween thing for the kids in the manor. We have a little island at the top. It has some paths in it. So we got permission from Chief Haney from Aleppo Township to kind of close that road for those couple hours of Halloween. Everybody will still have access to their homes. And a lot of the people in the manor have decided to help decorate the woods and sit in lawn chairs along those little paths and have the kids come there for their candy in one place. I'm gonna get 50 or 60 little pumpkins and have kids painting pumpkins and whatever. It's not just for the kids in the manor, it's for kids from wherever. We routinely get, you know, kids from Swickley trick-or-treating, etc. That's absolutely fine. Anybody that wants to come is fine. They're still doing trick-or-treating, you know, in the normal way. This is just an easy way. We're gonna light up those woods. It's an easy, safe way for some parents to bring kids. We're gonna have the hot dog wagon there doing pulled pork and salads and I don't know what else they're gonna do, but, yeah, it'll be some fun. So anybody that wants to join us, come on over. We're gonna start with the pumpkin painting at 5. Trick or treat starts in the township 6 to 8. So anybody that wants to come and join us, feel free.
Thank you. Any further citizen participation? Is an executive session required?
Not that I require.
Therefore,
Patty, how'd you revise that?
Excuse me.
So in the minutes from October 10th,
Yes,
page 3 at the bottom, new legislation in Pennsylvania. Draft ordinance for the waiver of penalties if someone fails to pay their property taxes after the first year of occupancy because they did not receive their tax statement.
thank you.
Okay?
any other business? Meeting adjourned.